looks like I might be live tonight. Here we go. Looks like the audio is good, so now I just gotta confirm the connection, and that is confirmed as well. I know the game does not say Scarlet and Violet. On my end, it might say that, but I'm positive that's not what it says for you guys. So that said, welcome anybody that sees this. I'm getting started pretty late tonight. I actually thought about not doing it, and I thought, you know what? I kind of want to shiny hunt just a little bit and just casually talk with you guys for a little bit and just enjoy the night. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular, but I figure, you know what? The next hunt that I was going to do in Let's Go is going to be Zapdos anyway, so I'm going in order. Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres. So I thought, you know what? I'll set up this hunt and give it a few shots at, seeing if we get an early one tonight. And I might as well do it while I'm on stream. So I said, you know what? I'm going live. I'll skip Friday Night Smash. Friday Night Smash I like to do when I allocate more than a couple hours to it. So I'm like, I'll just do some shiny hunting tonight. I'll keep it nice and chill and relax. Whoever pops by, and you guys know how it's going to go is either we're going to find something shiny or we're not. So give me 1 second to click just one thing really quickly. Oh, my cat stole my chair. Oh, he unstole my chair. So I figure, you know what? I'll start off the night like this. Like I say, it's going to be a pretty chill night tonight. Nothing crazy going on, so I thought I'd start at the Indigo Plateau. I needed some cash. I needed some Premier Balls. And you know what, Zapdos, this time I'm going to get you in a Premier Ball. I know I didn't throw Mewtwo in one. I know I didn't throw Articuno in one, but no excuse for Zapdos. Zapdos is going in one for sure. Let me just double check what I've got here. Let me see. Yeah, 144. I am well equipped. That is plenty. So, yeah, dude, I just love this freaking theme. You know what? I'm actually going to turn it up. I've got the TV just a little too low, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to hear this theme. I want to hear this nice freaking Indigo Plateau theme. I think they did an excellent job in this game about that theme. This is like one of my favorite no, this might be my favorite version of this theme. So with that said, if anybody is floating out there in the chat right now, I welcome you to the stream, and hello. And you know what? I say let's get started. So I'm going to pretty much set up the hunt. So that's probably the first thing I'll do is double check. Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, this will be totally fine. This is totally okay. I would say, yeah, you know what? I think, honestly, it's going to be a level 50 Zapdos. I'll destroy this thing. We don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to fly over there and get started. So, dude, I love that we don't have to worry about HM slaves anymore because this is our target right here, the power plant, and I don't have to worry about trying to get there. Now I just got to remember how to get there. I know it's been a while, but, you know, I'm pretty good with this. I think I remember how to get over there. This is the one that I think I'm least familiar with because I know that I have shiny hunted Articuno in Fire Red once. Moltres, I don't know why, but I did Moltres twice, and Moltres in this game is in its original location. So, let's see. How do I remember how to get over to the power plant? That's going to be the question. The power plant, I know you have to... Yeah, Brain, are we forgetting how to get to the power plant? I don't know if I remember how to get over to there. Pretty sure we do this. And boy. And off we go this direction. So, I need to get to the power plant. To do that, I need to go around. No, I don't need to go around. I'm sorry. I know exactly where I'm going. I apologize. My brain went off for just a second. I know exactly where I'm going. I have to go north of here, the rock tunnel. So we're going to go right there and then swim around. That's all. We're good. Just had to take a second to let my brain catch up with the rest of me. So, all right. You know what? I think here's what I'm going to do. Like I say, I'm grabbing the mouse. I forgot. I'm out of spots that I can actually use USB slots. So I figure I'll move over here. Let me just make sure you guys, yeah, you're not getting any input from the DS. Good. I just don't want like crazy audio going. Like Ivanus, if you're sitting out there and you're shiny hunting as well, and you're hearing your audio, and my audio again because I got two games going, that would be impossible to hunt. So I don't want to do that to you. This is the power plant is question mark. Gotta remember. I don't have anybody I can ride either. I don't have any ride Pokemon on me. As much as I ran around saying that was one of the best features of the game, and the first thing I do is not use it. Foolish of me. How dare I? But you know what? To an extent, when you're soft resetting, the journey there is pretty much the only time that you get where you're not a slave to the reset, reset, reset. So I figure, you know what? I'm going to enjoy the walk there because I'm going to be sitting there. Who knows? Mewtwo, I sat there for 3 years. So close to 4. I rounded up a little bit in that video, but close to 4. So you know what? Let's just enjoy the nice walk over there. Eevee, use a move that you obviously know, Cut. Because that's a move that Eevee definitely uses all the time. All right, so we just head over this way, and then I'll surf over to the power plant, and we'll get started. So, do I want to do a reset for Kyogre? I feel like I'll hold off on Kyogre for just a second because for anybody that might pop in, like I say, without Friday Night Smash, I know it's going to be like, he's not doing Friday Night Smash, so there's going to be a few people that were probably looking forward to that Friday Night Smash and ended up getting shiny hunting instead. But for anybody that does enjoy these streams, I thank you profusely for coming by. And in this regard, it may not be Friday Night Smash. Hopefully we'll make something bright happen here. Especially Zapdos, man. I give Zapdos almost no. Look at this guy. He's like, you've never been to the power plant before. He's going to challenge me to a battle here. Dude, I am going to sweep you like it is nothing. What are you doing, you fool? I wouldn't have even crossed... You know what? Never mind. You know how long it's been since I did a battle with a normal trainer? I haven't gotten to hear this theme in a long time. Yeah, I'm going to destroy this guy for memory's sake. We're running down good memories here. So here's, yeah, level 42 Rhyhorn, which is kind of funny, honestly. I didn't think you'd be that high a level. So I kind of forget that, yeah, the power plant doesn't become accessible until later in the game, but even then, Zapdos isn't available, I think, until the Elite Four is done. Or is it available before the Elite Four? It's hard to keep these things straight sometimes. There's so much info that I can't even keep up with what I used to know versus what I know now. Hit him with an Ice Punch. Level 100 Fist in your bam face. Poor Lickitung. Joke's on you. You're pathetic. You couldn't even learn Lick in the... Oh, yeah, I forgot these facial expressions. These facial expressions were top tier, dude. Yeah, poor Lickitung couldn't even learn Lick in the originals, so... Alright, let me move this around and give that blue orb a nice reset on the right side of your screen there. Let's give it a shot. Out of curiosity, I'll now, revive? Thunderstone, that is very appropriate. So, probably won't ever use it unless I find some shiny Eevee, but let's be honest. I've caught so many shiny Eevee, should I even be... I was going to say Electabuzz. I was thinking at first, I was like, I bet you're the elite trainer or the master trainer for... Ooh, whoops. Let me run out of here. Sorry, I got a cat that I'm messing with, and I'm trying to reset Sapphire version. I don't want to get encounters right now. I was going to say... I bet you're the Zapdos Elite Trainer, but I would imagine the Zapdos Elite Trainer is probably waiting for me inside here. So it makes sense that that's the Electabuzz Trainer. All right, so these could be Electrodes, and I'm actually kind of interested in doing an Electrode hunt. Oh, wow. People I've never been in here, so I never battled her. Like, these are brand new trainers that I have not battled. I'm kind of interested in doing a static Electrode encounter, which, okay, I guess the Electrodes are the ones that are upside down. I don't remember that in the original games. Voltorb trainer, huh? That is pretty funny that the power plant has all the electric Pokemon. I mean, that's pretty stereotypical, but it makes sense. No, I figure I'll possibly be interested in doing a soft reset hunt for an Electrode. So if I do that, there's a big Electrode. If I do that, then obviously I don't want to encounter them right now because otherwise they won't be there anymore. So Zapdos is this direction. I'm 99% sure. My old memory tells me Zapdos is this way. Well, I just found the Zapdos trainer, so that tells me I'm on the right track because usually they are not far from each other. I like that the Great Ball is still there because, yeah, I guess I was using a Great Ball as a fire last time I was hunting, wasn't I? So Electrode is up, and then Zapdos, you're probably right in this room. Yeah, Zapdos, you're right there. Whoops. That's, in other games, that's how you save, but in the original Switch game, that was not how it is. This is the first Pokemon game on Switch. I'll never forget that, dude. The marketing they put into Let's Go is, when you look back at it, it was insane how much marketing they put into this game, considering that they didn't end up really making the sales volume that they thought they would make, because obviously we didn't get another Let's Go game. We got another freaking Legends game. So, and I love Legends, and I'm sure they're holding back their best stuff. They're not telling us anything about Legends EA because they're going to wait until the marketing is like full-fledged, full force. So I have every doubt in the world right now that we've even seen a fraction of the game. So I'm not worried at all about that. But that said, this game got major marketing. They pushed this game so hard that they actually decorated an entire neon truck to look like the truck that was the famous Mew truck. And this game had demos all over the place, and it was insane. And rightfully so. It was the very first Switch game, or the first Pokemon Switch game, rather. There may have been Mystery Dungeon before this, but I don't believe so. I believe this was the first Pokemon game on Switch, if memory serves right. So they marketed the crap out of this for a very good reason. But that said, it kind of feels like it fell flat because they put so much time and money into marketing this just so they could end up not following it up with another Pokemon Let's Go game, rather. Ah, the first reset. You never forget your first reset. It also never shines on the first reset, so fun fact for you guys. It's a good cutscene. I enjoy it. And that is definitely not a shiny Zapdos. Zapdos is pretty subtle, I will admit. Out of curiosity, I'm curious, am I a one-punch man here? Since you're level 50 and I'm level 100, if I brick break you in the face, does that take you out? Technically, you're a flying type. Oh, I should use ice. What am I doing? I was going to say technically you're a flying type, but I want the stab bonus. Yeah, the stab bonus is not nearly what... it's not going to give me nearly what I need. What is going to give me the bonus is, you know, super effective punch in your face. So, but... all right, my cat has come to wish me a good time. My cat has come to wish me a good luck. So, Zapdos, are you going to shine for us tonight? That is the question to be had. Because Zapdos, it would be faster than Articuno. Articuno was a one-day hunt. However, that's bridging on the fact that back when this game came out in 2018, I also hunted Articuno. It was my first live stream, in fact. And that Articuno hunt, I don't remember how many resets or how much time I put into it. So technically, it was a fast Articuno hunt. But if you count the 4 years ago, no, or 5 years, 6 years ago, well, 5 years ago, if you count how many resets I did 5 years ago, I'm not really sure where I was at. So, all right, Kyogre, same thing. Kyogre, I have an idea of what frames I've tested in terms of the fast resets. I just want to see, can I take you out in a single ice punch? Just one ice punch right to the throat. Here we go. Boom. Yeah, it takes you out instantly, so nothing to worry about there. They're level 50 anyway. You come in with level 100, it's nothing to worry about. It was pretty funny that they did that 10-minute timer, or no, I think it's a 5-minute timer, or 6. I'm not really sure. I think it was 6 or 5 minutes. I think it's 5. You have 5 minutes to defeat it. And with Mewtwo, that was a bit of a concern because it could be spamming Amnesia and Recover. So even at level 100, it has boosted aura stats. And this was back when they were doing that it's stats intensified thing where they would artificially pump the Pokemon with basically a free psych up or bulk up or something like that. And Mewtwo was a beast. Even at level, I think it was 75, Mewtwo was already a beast. And the fact they pumped it up, it was almost like a level 100 Pokemon. So because of that, you had to watch out for... Yeah, Mewtwo's level 70, so it was acting more like a level 85. And with that recover, it was the RNG really didn't know to do this, and it didn't know that I was shiny hunting. But technically, with that battle, I could get screwed over because Mewtwo would be sitting there recovering and using Amnesia and recovering, so you got to watch out for that. But Zapdos, I don't have to worry about any of that. Ironically, Zapdos is pretty subtle, so I'm going to... Even more subtle of a change than Articuno, They look good in HD. You can really tell them in HD extremely well. However, Zapdos out of the three, Moltres, I'm never going to miss that shiny. If it spawns shiny, I'm not going to reset over it unless I'm just not paying attention. And I've never done that ever in 20 years of shiny hunting, so why would I start now? So with Zapdos, I think that it has a little bit of a prospect that I get ahead of myself and reset right over it. So I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen tonight. Boy. Same thing for you, Kyogre. You're a very obvious shiny, so I would never reset over you. That would be very foolish. With this one, we could just do that. It doesn't matter. There's no frames going on here. There's no dead save batteries. It's just me and Zapdos staring each other down. Ironically, I feel like the Galarian forms of them were so much more popular than these guys are. And I agree with one of them, of course. I think that Galarian Articuno definitely is like top tier. Love that design. And by all means, the Cantonian version doesn't exactly hold a candle to it anymore. I think that was like, holy crap, I love this design. But that said, I think that especially now that the shinies are out in Let's Go, I'm sorry, not Let's Go, Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go, they released the Galarian bird shinies, and they look great. I love them. They look better, if you will. I would say Moltres, I prefer Cantonian shiny. The other two, yeah, I'll go over to Galar. But I feel like I'm one of the minorities. I think everybody pretty much said they love those Galarian forms way more than the Kanto forms. So I may not be in the popular opinion on that one, but 100%. Zapdos kind of looks, that's where this point was going. Zapdos doesn't really look good in either version of him. The chicken version that runs around is, I get what they were going for, and it is funny, but I don't like that Pokemon at all. It's not that Zapdos, I mean, it's my least favorite of the birds. It's not that I think it's a bad design, but Zapdos, in just its overall its whole design, feels less threatening or less majestic. You know, it doesn't capture that aura of legendary like the other two do. So then you turn to the Galar birds like, all right, well, you guys can save this Pokemon, right? You guys can make this thing look a little more epic or majestic or rare, you know, just give it a good design. Because I feel like it's just a little too round right now. You see, Zapdos, watch when it spawns. You'll see what I mean. Or I shouldn't say you'll see what I mean. I'll explain what I mean. You probably believe nobody can see it. All right, see how it looks at you, and it just kind of feels like it's a little round in shape. You know, it's a bird, but it just feels less threatening. Yeah, it's an electric bird, but like, I don't know. There's just its stance doesn't feel as majestic or threatening as other legendaries do. So especially compared to Moltres and Articuno. Articuno looks majestic. Moltres looks threatening. Zapdos is kind of almost the oddball out in those regards. So then you skip over to Galar, like, all right, let's see that Galarian form. And it's a running giant chicken. And it's funny. I admit, you know, it was fun to catch it. But especially because you literally had to catch it. You had to catch up to it before you could catch it. And that was funny in Crown Tundra, but I will admit, it's like Zapdos got the least love in terms of design. Both times it was designed. The first time and then in the eighth generation, rather. So poor Zapdos over here, like, it got the shaft every single time. But that's coming back to this, though. I can't take my eyes off of it because I mean, I guess I should look it up and just double check what it looks like in Let's Go on this screen or in HD and see what it looks like shiny, because I feel like it's the one that I could glance over by accident. Same thing with its Galar form. The shiny just really doesn't stick out that well. Articuno is really the king of I don't stick out very well as a shiny. I get that all day, but in this game, I think Articuno looks more obvious. I think that Articuno is definitely pulling it a little better in this game, pulling it off than it did in years past. So I can give it that. Zapdos, I feel like it's just like, with Zapdos, I pretty much know that this thing's like not the greatest shiny in the world. So with that, you know, I got to be careful. I got to be mindful, and I got to be careful when it spawns. looking at what the differences are would arm me a little better. Like I say, even with Articuno, I was like, I don't know about this one, man. This is gonna be tough. I'm gonna have to take my time with it. And the more I look at it, the more I'm like, no, actually, I don't have to take my time at all. I think it's pretty obvious that it's shiny. And then when it did pop up, I knew immediately that it was shiny. I wasn't even close to the mic. I had the mic running, and I was over there editing Majora's Mask. And when I saw it pop up, I'm like, oh, no way. That was so quick. But at the same time, it was so well deserved because, dude, that freaking thing was like, oh, it was crazy. It spawned, and I'm like, I literally was just talking about how Mewtwo. I'm 2 minutes late. No, I set it for 9 o'clock. I went live at like 8:38. It was something like that. No, I'm good to go. I know I'm not. Welcome back. It's good to be back, Ivanus. I feel bad. I got busy with something and didn't end up. I didn't end up being able to stream until like now. And I thought about just not streaming tonight, and I was like, you know what? I want to set up the next Let's Go Shiny Hunt anyway, so I'm gonna just do that instead. And oh, you know what? I just realized I should probably sync the clock back up because I had it desynced the other day. There we go. Maybe that'll help the shiny luck too, because it'll be like, oh, hey, he put the clock back. He's good. He's not being a jerk about this anymore. But, yeah, I'm going to be a little careful. I think out of the 3 birds, Moltres, I can spot that a mile away. Anybody can. It's got the best shiny. Articuno, it was subtle, but in HD, it's not very subtle at all. I think it sticks out pretty well that it's shiny. But then you move over to Zapdos here, and Zapdos, you can reset over this thing like that. Want to know a sad fact? Sure. The sad fact is that the Cubone, or the Marowak that Trace, I think it's Trace, right? Trace, the rival of this game, uses Marowak, and that Marowak was the Cubone that you found that saw its dead mother. That was pretty sad. That was an intense, sad scene. So that's a sad fact. What's your sad fact? Alright, just making sure. 90% of all species that existed on Earth are extinct. That I have not only known, but also I have heard that before. I've heard high numbers, not necessarily 90%. I'm not sure where it was at, but I have heard that several times throughout the years in college and such. But one thing that is kind of funny to think about is how many species are estimated as undiscovered, even mammalians. So there are mammals on this planet that are undiscovered. And that's actually the #1 reason why Bigfoot is still plausible in my mind, because evading human detection is something that mammals are particularly good at, especially monkeys and apes. There was a species of monkey that I couldn't tell you the name of it. I know that it was, I think it was out in like Ghana, Africa, somewhere in there. And that species of monkey evaded human detection for a lot of years and a lot of studies. But it finally got caught by a trail cam, and they're like, I told you, I knew it was real. The researchers were so proud of that, but it was like, man, this species of monkey actually evaded human detection for a lot of years, and that's pretty impressive. So you know what, that's the #1 reason why if Bigfoot does exist, that's how. Ivanus, you have a good, nice sleep. You take care. Have a good night. It's a pleasure to see you. I'm not going to stream too long. I'll probably go about an hour and a half. I'll make it a 2-hour stream. It won't be a big stream at all. But that said, the Team Night, that's where we get our work done. See, I'm shiny hunting at night because we're Team Night. So the Spring Fest is announced, and I'm all on board of it. Not only that, but we're getting Splatoon 2 gear back. So you were joking. You were going to, hold on. Okay, Nito, time to go back to bed. Sorry, I thought I misread that. I misread that all day. It's still not as bad as when I had the screen way back here, but when I have the dual setup like this, the DS I have sticking out a little further, so I grab the monitor and I move it back. So it's still a little further than what I would like, which means that I am going to misread shit every now and then. But it's not as bad as last week. I misread Sheik as Shrek, and that's how I knew that that monitor had just inched its way back too freaking far. And it made sense because honestly, I've seen so many modded Switch games or modded Smash games rather that when somebody's like, "Oh, I play Shrek," I'm like, "Yeah, I had Ichigo in here last week and Naruto before that," so it made sense. But yeah, when I felt like an idiot when I was like, I just need to grab this and move it forward. So in this case, you can't see my setup, but again, I kind of move the monitor back when I've got the DS down here. What's going on here? I was gonna say, are you gonna connect? I swore. How dare I? Actually, it is kind of funny. In the latest Majora's Mask, the finale, the final episode of Majora's Mask that Naya and I have recorded, that series is officially concluded and done. I had a potty mouth, and I just went ahead. I edited that episode, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna straight up bleep this episode. It was funnier with the bleep, but still, I was like, wow, I can't believe how aggressively I was swearing. I'm like, dang, this is pretty intense for me. So I went ahead and just put the bleep in there. I was like, there we go. And it was like at the 8-minute mark. Like it was for an hour-long episode, and I was like, I'm gonna get all my swears out before the 10-minute mark even. We're not even gonna make it that far. That was pretty funny. But I was kind of surprised. Especially with Naya, I usually don't get a potty mouth around her when we're recording. I'm pretty tame. Live, I have never in all my years of streaming, so 6 years, 7 years of streaming. Now 6 years of streaming, I have never slipped up and dropped a big ol' F-bomb. But when I'm recording, I can get close sometimes. You can kind of hear me stutter into like, what was that word you were about to say? And yeah, I would just let them fly. Now, here's the funny thing. Ivanus, any guess what game, and I'll give you a hint, it's a multiplayer game. What game gets me swearing more than any other game? Ivanus says, Nito, Pokemon Legends ZA looks nothing like Arceus. I was actually just talking about that, ironically. I don't think we know much of anything about it. They're holding it back from us big time. Just like, so look at Let's Go. They marketed that for like 8 months. Hardcore marketing. Legends ZA is getting no marketing. It's going to get eventually a demo version, but that you can play in person only. But it's not getting marketed that much. That tells me that Legends ZA, they're saving it, man. They're saving it until we've got details on the Switch 2. They don't want to butt heads with their major announcements, and their major announcement is the Switch 2. So I feel like they're going to show off that Switch 2, potentially release that Switch 2 before we get anything juicy. New Mega Evolutions, new mechanics, some of the customization features. I feel like they're going to hang us out to dry, and then they'll soak us right as we're getting close to the release date, because they don't want to blow all their marketing now. I don't know if it's like they did this with Gen 9 as well. They revealed it in February, and then they went dry for like 5 months. We had like nothing major. Let's Go, from the moment it was announced, they were marketing the crap out of that with the Pikachu parades and the Eevee costumes, then the plushes and the trucks, the neon trucks. Like, they were marketing this game hardcore. And I don't think it really paid off like they thought they were going to see some payoff. Otherwise, we'd have a Let's Go Johto game by now. They didn't really get the payoff. Was it profitable? Of course it was. Was it earth-shattering, record-setting, amazing? It did set records, but they were definitely aiming higher than what they got out of it. I think they wanted to get all the Pokemon Go players to go buy a Switch so they could get Let's Go. I think that's why they marketed this game so hard. Was Pokemon Go, at the time this came out, it took over the world in 2016, but it still had a huge player base in 2018. Not like it did when it launched, but enough that they thought, hey, if we can market the crap out of this game and go for absolute the highest peak there is, which is getting mobile players to convert to console playing, or at least start getting console playing. People that didn't have a Switch already would have to buy a Switch and Let's Go so that they could hook up Pokemon Go to their Switch. Sounded great, great idea, and that's why I believe they marketed this game so hard. Let's Go was marketed so hard, and then here's the dichotomy. We go into Legends ZA. Dude, there's no marketing material for it. They've barely revealed anything to us. They showed us a couple of models. They showed us revolutionary battle mechanics. And they showed us what the game's going to be about. I was wrong. I admit that. I thought everybody was wrong about the whole future of Lumiose City aspect. I'm like, dude, it's legends. Like in the past, legends. So why would it be about future Lumiose City? Well, as it turns out, that urban redevelopment plan was not the building of Lumiose City. It was the rebuilding or expanding of Lumiose City. So I was wrong. I was dead wrong, man. But you're not seeing it marketed yet. And I mean, we're months out from, well, not months out, but certainly we're a little over half a year out of release. So where's the marketing material? Well, I think that marketing material for ZA and any of the big hype stuff that's going to make you be like, I got to play this game, they're waiting because they don't want to butt heads or take away any of the suspense of the Switch 2. They already had a jerk leaker leak the Switch 2 from inside, unless it was one of the marketing promo people from like GameStop or somebody like that. Either way, they did not appreciate, I'm sure, that the Switch 2 was leaked. Now, everyone would have you believe it was leaked years prior. Those guys are all liars. But it was leaked about 2 weeks before the Switch announcement. So what they're probably going to do is try to absolutely take over the world with their announcement of the Switch 2 after the Direct, along with the sales from launching a new console. Let that sink in and then start teasing for ZA. So I would say that if you're going to see any crazy stuff for Legend ZA, it's going to be when the Switch 2 starts to either die down or get towards that release date where we know what we're getting. We're just waiting for it to launch. Then they start marketing ZA. So it's like, oh yeah, I want a Switch 2 when I play this game. Same thing for Metroid. If they're going to give Metroid anything, Metroid, I'm sure they're going to wait. Metroid Prime 4 is one of probably the largest game projects in Nintendo history. They're not going to drop that and start hyping everybody up until the Switch 2 is out of the way. So I feel like they're going to wait and get over that. So, Ivanus, to go back to what game makes me swear more than anything else, was it Splatoon? Was it Smash? As it turns out, neither of those games are the one that makes me swear a lot. You are never going to see this coming like anybody else. I have mentioned it before one time that this game gets me swearing really bad. In fact, I'll show you that game right now. This guy right here, Tetris 99. I do not get a potty mouth until I open up Tetris 99. And then, oh my God, every word out of my mouth would be bleeped if I was recording that. In fact, I somewhat did that with a YouTube short I made of the old Pac-Man 99 before they shut that down. The first launch night that they had Pac-Man 99, I kind of got a little bit of a mouth on me while that was going on. So I kind of felt slightly guilty about that. Nothing major, but slightly guilty about that. But I know I feel really guilty about, man, of all the games to get me going, Tetris is the one that does it. It does me in every time. Put a block in the wrong position and let them fly. Hang them high. You would just hear me going off. You might even learn a few new ones if you're lucky. That's depends how high and how fast, or how high the blocks are and how fast the blocks are dropping, and you might learn a new swear word. Yeah, it's a shame. I really wish that they had given us another Let's Go game, because I feel like they truly did. I'm actually going to go with a quick encounter. Here we go. They did really well with this. There were a few mechanics that I believe were extremely overly childish. And there's nothing really wrong with that, because like Eevee and its, Sizzly Sizzle and Darky Dark, those moves, and they're all OP, of course. Like, it does damage and raises your stats at the same time, and, like, it was ridiculous. Same thing for Pikachu, it had broken moves that were ridiculous, but at the same, and they can't learn those normally. They can't have those typings normally. But at the same time, for me, it's just don't use that feature. It's just something to put on the bench, Don't even use the Eevee. Don't even use the Pikachu. Just use them as, like, your support companion, but they're not actually in your party, You remember this game is for children? True, I will give you that. But at the same time, the game, I would say these games have always had an element of challenge that a child it's negotiable. Like a 5-year-old child, I don't think they're making it through Pokemon any day of the week. You'd have to have a very intelligent, very fast developing, strategic minded child to at 5 years old be able to beat most Pokemon games. I would say 6, 7, 8, you're starting to get in there. 7 and 8 year olds, if they're hardcore gamers, yes. If they're casual gamers, they'll probably bail out as soon as the first sign of difficulty happens. And then, by 12 and 13, you're like, where is hard mode, dude? I want this game to kick my ass. And I want it to spit on me, and then I want it to make me thank it for it. Like, by the time you're in your teens, yeah, Pokemon's difficulty has passed. Although I have been impressed by a couple of the battles throughout the years. Pokemon Moon, I'm looking at you. I have been very impressed. And then, of course, Cynthia, killer of men. Strike down all of those who oppose her and show you, if you've never felt fear, you will when you see her. So I'll give it that. But that said, this game feels like it was like a 5-year-old game. Like, you can use okay, here. Here. Remember this? So here's a second character. Literally, here's me running around with 2 characters. I don't think I can battle this thing 2-on-1. Can I battle Zapdos 2-on-1? I'm not sure. Yeah, I can battle it 2-on-1. So yeah, Zapdos time to die. We're gonna pretend this is a raid battle. So yeah, this is what I would call overly childish. I mean, you can absolutely roll through this game as a 5-year-old. That's what I mean by, yeah, it's a childish game, but it's got an extra element of child on there. And while it may be funny, like, okay, it's not really bad. You're just, you're battling this thing with 2 people. It's just a nice feature, it's nothing major. The fact of the matter is that I've got an Eevee here that uses, oh no, it's not Darky Dark, it's Batty Bad. Sizzly Slide and Batty Bad. If it was less childish, they would have called that Bad Void, and Sizzly Slide would be like Scorched Earth, but instead they named it that because they were definitely adding a lot more of that. Whoops, the blue Joy-Con's the one that's having the problem. We'll dock you back because you're out of control. One Joy-Con's got adrift, and mine's the blue one. When I was 13, I cried when I lost to the champion in Gen 5. Alder or oh crap. Who's the girl? Hold on, don't tell me. I got this. In Black 2, I already know Black 2, White 2 that the champion's not Alder. It's what's oh my god, how did I forget her name? Oh, this is killing me. Come on, brain. The Gen 5, the girl that has the hair loopies, the dress. She's got a gown. Her name starts with like an S or a C or something. It's not Cynthia. Her name is I can't remember. Yeah, Alder is the guy. Alder is the champion Gen 5. Or I'm sorry, base game, the black one and white one. And then Black 2, White 2, it goes to I can't remember. The girl that's the dragon type trainer. I can't remember her name. Oh no, it's Iris. I just remembered. Iris is her name. Iris is the champion in Gen 5, the sequel. So I know about that, even though I haven't played the games yet. And don't worry, I'm working on that. I do promise I'm working on that. But yeah, I guess I'm glad to hear that Gen 5 has an element of difficulty to it. Because I know they finally did the hard mode thing, but that was the only generation they did that, right? Where you can elect to put it into like, oh, I'm a newbie, take it easy. Or, oh yeah, I've played every Pokemon generation, hit me. So I don't know. They never did that again. I don't know what, like, so I know I don't believe it's AI. Well, I shouldn't say AI because the term AI has changed. The computer trainers, I don't believe strategy is like when they say, yeah, give me hard mode. I thought it was like levels and moves, but it's not actually strategy. They don't go, okay, you're on hard mode. Oh, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna start by dragon dancing, and then I'm gonna volt switch into, or no, I'm gonna do a baton pass into a Pokemon that is now super beefy, and I'm gonna drop a Trick Room so that my beefy Pokemon is also the fastest one in the room with all these stat bonuses, and I'm gonna sweep your whole team. By the way, he also had a Focus Sash on the first one and a Citrus Berry on the second one. Die. You know, stuff like that. I don't think that's what happens when you go with hard mode. I think it just ups the levels and gives them the most powerful move options. But I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I even looked at that. I try to keep myself in the dark as much as possible because I have not played Gen 5. Do I know the gym leaders? Yeah. Do I know the story? I know a little bit of it. I know where I know where it's going, where the evil team is going. A little bit about that anyways. I don't know how they're stopped. I don't know what they actually do with the whole Curium thing. But I do know the Pokemon. I have seen the Pokemon on the decks. I have most of them memorized. I have not taken too much of a look into them. Like, I don't have all the stats of every Gen 5 Pokemon. Gen 5 and Gen 6 are definitely my weak points. So, why does the evil guy in Gen 6 explode? Because a giant Zygarde stone murders him. I think that was, at least in the anime. I don't know what happens in the games. 5 and 6 are the only games I haven't played, so I don't know the story. According to the anime, he blows up, and I believe it was the Zygarde rock that did it, which that was always funny to me. Is like the apex of Gen 6 was a rock, and Lysander was the big bad guy. Now, Lysander was definitely a bad dude. I actually liked him as a villain. I look forward to those games as well. That said, Lysander, I thought was more of a threat than a rock. Like, that rock was presented like, oh my god, we got to stop this magic rock. And I'm like, no, you needed to stop Alon. And, well, spoiler alert, you didn't. So that's where I was at with the anime. I need to, you know what, I probably should too. I should probably get X and Y taken care of. I'm going to do them in order. I'm not going to go X, Y, and then Gen 5. Unless I'll do it right. But I've got 3 games to get through if I want to have Gen 6 taken care of before ZA comes out. I haven't decided what I'm going to do about that yet. The Ginger People Evil Team. I think that was an alternative way, like they used to call that in the game. I'm pretty sure that's a real term. They were like, yeah, we're Team Magma, but also sometimes we call ourselves the Ginger People Evil Team. And Lysander is our leader because he was the most socially awkward and rejected of them all. Alright, let me move a couple things around here really quickly. I wanted to get the screen closer. Alright, I wanted to get the screen a little closer because I was misreading stuff, but at the same time, I really don't want to risk the DS being on the computer or anywhere near it, because if it is, it could get hot, and I don't want it to get hot. This DS does not get hot. It's nice and cool. I can run this for hours, which, I mean, I would say that 90% of the crowd that has modded DSs like mine, 90% of them bought them to shiny hunt. And so did I. That's what I did. I bought the modded DS. I got the capture card installed so that I could shiny hunt. That's what I do. I shiny hunt. I spend hours and days and years resetting. And I lost my mind on Cresselia. I literally lost 2 diamond versions hunting that Cresselia, and it never shined for me. So that's what I do. I'm not some poser that just comes along for the trend, my guys. This is why at 9 o'clock on a March afternoon night, I am sitting here in a game that came out years ago that most people kind of forgot about, to be honest. And I'm sitting here going, no, I'm not done with you yet. Zapdos, you're up next, and you're going to shine. That said, anybody that is lurking in the chat and anybody that left me a like, thank you for taking the time to do that, truly. I see the likes that are on the stream, and I do appreciate it, especially because I think my shiny hunting streams are actually being overtaken for popularity, or have long since been taken over. I would say shiny hunting was what I was known for. It's the thing that I do the most, and when my channel gets randomly discovered, it's because of shiny hunting. Or at least it was. Now I noticed shiny streams are actually my least, or not least, but they're certainly one of my least populars now. So I was like, wow. So if you're here hanging out, if you're lurking out there, you're leaving me a like, thank you for taking the time to do that. Truly, I really do appreciate that, because I will always shiny hunt, even if it's somehow it's now overtaken. Splatoon and Smash Bros seem to have dethroned it, even though they've always been on my channel and they've always been a consistent thing that I enjoy and have fun with. I think a lot of people have come to my channel solely for Splatoon and Friday Night Smash, and the shiny hunting is something that I think people just kind of see it like, oh, he's doing that shiny thing, everybody does that. And I'm like, ah, man, I'm the founder. I'm the father of shiny hunting. You guys don't understand. It runs through my blood. I can't abandon it, and I never would. So for those people, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, of course. It's just, it's surprising. I'm like, hey, you know, if anybody sees it and is like, ah, he's doing a shiny hunting stream, I wanted to play Splatoon, it'd be like, dude, shiny hunting is where I came from. This is my home. But no, seriously, that all just comes down to thank you guys. If you left a like on the stream, I see you. And I appreciate it, truly. That's why I say, if you take the time to leave a like, I'll take the time to thank you for doing it. Especially because usually that's another thing is, if you're not here, if I'm not live by a certain time on Friday, most people that watch my channel find another streamer to go hang out with on a Friday night or something else to do. So I don't see them usually pop up if I go live after a certain time in the hour. So having a late night one like this, yeah, I can definitely expect low numbers. So for anybody that actually took the time to leave a like, even if viewership is down, and there's no problem with viewership down, I'm just saying it's the fact that, you know, the few are the strong, and I appreciate that. Why is Poliwag's shiny so ass? Because sometimes Pokemon, for whatever reason, just doesn't freaking care. And you think they would definitely care because they use shinies as a marketing tool now, but yeah, they really do shaft a lot of shinies, and then unless your name is Charizard, they don't fix your shiny when it's terrible. They don't go back and go, hey, let's fix time here. Let's try to get this fixed and redesign this shiny. It's not even that hard, dude. Just change the colors. Give it something that's contrary to it, you know? Give it colors that stick out. Imagine if Zapdos was blue, you know? Then Zapdos would be like, holy crap, that's definitely shiny. But instead, Zapdos just gets a very subtle, lazy C-Lab 2 points here, 2 points there change, where it's a little more red, a little more red, a little less green, or a little more red, a little more yellow, basically, just a little more orange total. On the color wheel, it's orange. On C-Lab, it's more red, more yellow. And it's super lazy. They just grabbed the sliding bar in whatever program they use and slightly nudged it and called that a shiny. So it's like, you know, yeah, what if they did that? That would have been a nice one. I mean, I would say they almost do that in, let me think here. Okay, maybe they don't do that. I'm just going through in my head and thinking about all the shinies. The Gen 2 shinies basically do what the Gen 1 shinies do, the dogs versus the birds. The Titans, yeah, they do their own thing. Gen 4, what did we have for shinies in Gen 4? Heatran's just a little darker. I gotta think here. Darkrai's sick. Cresselia is sick, but yeah, I don't think they do any swapping. I'm trying to think if there's anybody that swaps their shiny with somebody else in, like, imagine Latias being blue and Latios being red. I don't think anybody, I'm trying to think if anybody does that. Arceus and Palkia, they don't swap at all. I know the Titans don't swap, so then the Swords, or the Swords of Justice, I don't remember what their shinies look like. Then the Forces of Nature, same thing. I don't remember what their shinies look like. It doesn't matter because they're freaking locked anyways, assholes. Oh, they did that in 5, actually, so it doesn't matter. 5 and 6 got screwed over. The Tapus? Maybe the Tapus. Hey, maybe the Island Guardians. They might have done a switch and a swap. I can talk. Yeah, I think the Island Guardians, because I know Tapu Koko takes Tapu Bulu's color. Tapu, or does it? You know what? Never mind. I don't remember what Tapu Bulu looks like. He's not black. He's yellow, isn't he? Yellow orange. No, he's black and yellow, isn't he? Yeah, never mind. That's not. No, they don't do that. Because Tapu Fini and Tapu Lele don't swap colors. So yeah, I don't know anybody that has done that yet. So yeah, that would have been something cool though. Is trade your colors. Zapdos takes Articuno's color, Moltres takes Zapdos, and Articuno takes Moltres. That would have been cool. That would have been awesome. I would have been all for it. And like I was saying earlier in the stream here is the Galarian birds definitely took the popularity contest. Now, to me, the only one I favor more than the OG is Articuno. But either way, their shinies are available in Pokemon Go, so we can finally see what those shinies look like. Not by hacks, but like see them like spawn and catch them, and you know. And it's like they kind of did the same thing. They really, the Galarian form of Articuno looks great. Moltres I like. It's just I like the OG better. But then Zapdos comes along with a really weird design. It's just a wingless Zapdos that runs really fast with a crappy shiny again. And it's like, dude, okay, I get you back in Gen 1 because by the time Gen 2 came out, you'd invented shiny Pokemon. I get why you might not have put a lot of time into that. What's your excuse for the Galarian ones? Why are you still giving crummy shinies to legendaries? Or any Pokemon. Let's be honest. My opinion is that every Pokemon deserves a really cool shiny. And unfortunately, a lot of shinies got stiff. They got nothing. They got a very boring. Good example is Tandemaus. I caught a Tandemaus. Actually, I ended up catching 2 of them in Pokemon Violet last week. What a shit shiny that is, man. Terrible shiny. Horrible. Horrible. Dunsparce and Dunsparce. Man, no, well, no, that's not fair. They're, sorry, Dunsparce. Dunsparce is Gen 2. That doesn't count. Dunsparce? Wow, what a crappy shiny. Klefki, I may not like it, but it's a Gen 6 that has a crappy shiny. I mean, in Gen 6 Plus, especially, I'm sorry, Gen 7 Plus, I would say, is where they really started marketing shinies. And I truly believe if you're Gen 7 Pokemon, that includes this game, Gen 7 Plus, so Gen 7, 8, and 9, all Pokemon should have a really cool shiny, and they don't. And it kind of feels like, oh man, why did you do that? Why did you forsake all these Pokemon in the modern day? The old ones, I get it, maybe, where they were like, this shiny thing is just a fun little thing. It doesn't matter that much. Now that it's a full-fledged marketing tool, make every shiny awesome. Make you want to finish the decks, get a shiny living deck since the odds are so easy in this game, and keep people playing, you know? People are going to pass up that Poliwag because they're going to be like, I don't want that. That thing looks boring. Parasect does that with its earlier evolution with no shiny. Parasect changes its color palette. Yeah, with Paras. But that's a little different because that is actually like, it's creepy, but it's really Parasect. Paras is the insect. Parasect is the mushroom. Parasect basically kills Paras and takes over and becomes its own entity. So when it evolves, it kind of dies if you think about it because the mushroom takes over. And that's the Pokedex that said that, by the way. I know, you can't trust that Pokedex very often, but this time I like to go with it. Either way, so it kind of made sense because it wasn't just a color swap. It was a life swap. It was literally your Pokemon is a bug. Now it's a mushroom. So that made sense. Hell, it would be really awesome if they were to do a Parasect, whatever they're going to call, well, a Kalos form. Kalos Parasect, a regional form where it's a bug ghost type. That would be creepy, awesome, and creepy. And did I mention creepy? Oh, that'd be cool. I'm asking for too much. I'm asking for a little bit of effort. I'm asking for them just to make every Pokemon glorified in its shiny form. Make you almost look at the shiny as superior. I know that collectors look at shinies as superior. I'm not a big fan of people that use their shinies in battle because they think it's a superior Pokemon, even though it's mathematically the same. But if you had a really cool version of it, if it looked really cool, or it doesn't even have to look cool, it can be arbitrary. Just make the color palette a big switch. Make it like Espeon literally turning green, and some people are turned off by that. Like, ah, that's not really, that thing's ugly now. Ugh, I don't want that. Give me the pink back. And then some people are like, no, this is perfect. It's green, like, you know, like the sun when it's going over the horizon, when it's climbing up in the morning, right? So Espeon and Umbreon being kind of the day and the night Pokemon, it makes a little bit of sense that, you know, the sun gives you a green effect. Literally can give you a green flash when it's just over the horizon or during an eclipse. So it makes sense, you know, have that green, but some people look at it as, oh, God. But at the end of the day, Espeon, you don't mistake it's shiny. Glaceon got kind of screwed because it just, like almost all ice Pokemon, it just gets a little lighter. And that's where it's like, oh, man, you couldn't do something like you did with Cryogonal, except do it with Glalie, do it with Frostlass, do it with all of them. Glalie eyes change color. I'll give it that. Glalie eyes change color. So do Cryogonals. So do that, and that's better than what you did with Glaceon, Regice. Okay, maybe I'm running short on ice types that I can name that do that very minor shift, but you get my point. I think Vanillite, rather, not Frillish. Vanillite. What is Vanillite shiny? Isn't that the same thing? It just gets a little lighter. Just imagine a region in space or Antarctica. An Antarctica region would be hilarious. It would just be desolate all day. It gets purple. Why don't I remember this? All right, so yeah, I guess, all right, so maybe there's not as many ice types that do the whole, I'm just going to get a little lighter. I mean, look at Sneasel. Turns pink. That's a good one. Use my shiny Pokemon since they are my favorite. But that's different. I should say, let me take a step back here. Shinies as not your favorite, but as competitive. So the people that use shinies and they're like, I gotta EV train this shiny, and I've been this way forever, so this isn't a new opinion, but EV training and changing the nature. Now it's easier now with hyper training, candies, and ability patches, and being able to swap nature. It's totally reasonable that you can use your shinies. However, the people that we used to do it back in the day when that stuff was not possible were forcing their shinies to fight competitively because they wanted to show off a shiny even if the nature wasn't optimal. And it was like, yeah, no, get rid of those shinies. Get those out of your competitive. If you're using them to just like screw around, friendly fire with, or I shouldn't say friendly fire, friendly matches with your friends and just play through on your own, yeah, use your shinies all you want. You know, use your favorites. You don't have to have competitive Pokemon. If you're doing a Nuzlocke challenge even, you can use your shinies. It makes them special. But when you bring them to competition or you go online with them, that's where I'm like, man, you got to bring your shinies out, don't you? So that's always where I've been on that. But that doesn't take away from the point that for sure I wish that every shiny Pokemon, or every Pokemon had a really good shiny. Every Pokemon deserves a really awesome shiny. Alright, here's a double encounter. We got Kyogre is not shiny, and neither is Zapdos. Still can't believe when I look back at that Mewtwo and realize how horrid that Mewtwo hunt was. I caused it. I opened my big mouth saying, like, oh, I'm not a member of the 10K club. I've never gone 10,000 encounters or over 10,000. I've gone over odds, but never bad. And then the next thing you know, Mewtwo happened, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I asked for that. I definitely asked for that. What happened with Mewtwo? I hunted it for 4 years and went over 40,000 encounters to catch it. Every February 6th, Mewtwo's birthday, I was hunting Mewtwo live on stream, and then I would throw Mewtwo streams in there throughout the year. Every time I was on my bike trainer, I was hunting for Mewtwo while I was working out through the winter, and it was just like hours after hours after hours of Mewtwo encounters. Nothing. I thought, dude, my game is broken. This is the one cartridge. All the others work, but they put a shiny lock on legendaries on just this cartridge. Nobody else's. My game is broken. And then it shined. And I was like, oh my god, it's finally here. It finally happened. But at the same time, the good news about that was Articuno made up for it by shining very quickly. And I feel like for the pain that I put into Mewtwo, I deserve a fast Moltres and a fast Zapdos while I'm at it. I kind of wonder now that Pokemon Go has been purchased by a different company than Niantic, do you think they would possibly experience problems with the connectivity where right now you have to have Pokemon Go if you want to get Meltan and Melmetal into Pokemon Let's Go? I wonder if there's a scenario out there where Pokemon Go's new owner screws that up and now Pokemon Let's Go, you pretty much can't get a Meltan. Oh yeah, fun fact, Niantic sold Pokemon Go. I think they're doing like a geo-mapping AI business now. It's really weird. It's such a massive shift for Niantic. I almost feel like maybe they just couldn't manage it as well as they'd like to, and they just dumped it as long as they could get massive profits for it. I wonder how many employees Niantic had. How I felt with Shiny Poplio. Ugh, you had a rough one on a starter hunt, huh? Was it an egg hunt or was it a reset? It can't be a reset hunt, is it? Poplio's shiny locked, isn't it? Yeah, they definitely did. They shiny locked the starters in Gen 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and pretty much forever, except for this game. Or not this game. Well, yes, this game. But technically the starter is Eevee or Pikachu. Those are shiny locked. But Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Those are the only games on the Switch as of recent that there's no shiny lock on the starters. It was Violet. Okay, so it was an egg hunt. So, yeah, that can feel particularly insulting because when your odds are 1 in 500, like if you've got a shiny sandwich going, well, not with eggs, but if you're like hunting a outbreak, you have a chain going, you have the shiny charm, you have a sandwich, your odds are 1 in 500, and you're still not getting a shiny, it can feel like a kick in the teeth for sure. Oh, it was an outbreak. Okay, so yeah, you were in that position. You might have had a 1 in 500 odds going with between an outbreak, sandwich, and shiny charm, depending on if you didn't or did have some of those. You could have been down in the 1 in 400 or 500, whatever. I think it's 1 in 500, like right on the dot, 1 in 500. And it can be like, dude, my odds are through the roof. Not to mention you're rolling the dice so often by resetting the Pokemon that are out in the field. And you could feel like, my God, I should have this in like 2 minutes, not 2 days, or however long it took you. Kyogre, you're really the one that's out in the dark. Took you 2 months? Were you sitting there in the same outbreak for 2 months? That is definitely rough, considering how good your odds are that you wouldn't have it in 2 months. That's crazy. Kyogre's the one that I'm not really sure about because I don't know how long I want to do this. I'm not doing it super methodic. If I was doing method hunting, and I'm doing this without RNG manipulation, but the save battery is dead. So in terms of what frame is the shiny frame, if I wanted to do that methodically, I would do like reset it immediately as fast as I can, then give it like a 1/4 second reset. Do that a couple times, then 1/2 second, full second, you know, go through how many or how long from boot time you wait before you go into the encounter. I'm not really doing that, but at the same time, it makes me wonder how many random times do I want to fall onto a shiny or onto a frame before I give up and advance the clock by waiting like a minute after I boot and then going to the save menu, saving and, you know, resetting or starting the clock at a different point. I don't know how long I want to do it. I do know that I want to make this hunt work, though. With no save battery, I want to make this a random encounter. 2 months is rough. That is really rough. For a sandwich hunt, outbreaks, like you're just sitting there in the same outbreak going and going and going and going. That's pretty bad. My sympathies for you. We live on as the ones that never give up, ever. We are the unique breed. In terms of shiny hunters, there are the hunters that are doing it because they think that they need to. Everybody else is doing it. They don't want to feel like they missed out. They want to grow their collection. But if it takes too much effort, they're not about that, so they bail. You and I, we are the elite breed. Nothing deters us. By my decree of Nito Marquis, it's always worth it. No matter how long it takes, it's always worth it. Oh, except in the case of Cresselia, I'm probably going to have to leave that hunt into my will, and somebody else will have to keep doing resets after I'm gone. The longest hunt was 7 months for Latios. To think my longest hunt is now 4 years. Dear Lord, I can't believe that happened to me too. I still can't believe you did that to me. I know it's an on-again, off-again hunt. It's not like I'm sitting there every single day for 4 years hunting. But the fact is, I was keeping tally of how many resets I had versus how many hours of resetting I was doing. And it popped up at, or I should say my calculations came up at over 40,000. So it's like, dude, that's rough. To say the least. It wasn't Latios, it was 2 years for Roaming, Fire Doggo. Entei and Suicune and Raikou were like, all of those were super fast for me. I was surprised, or not super fast, but they were faster than you would expect. As a kid, I was still headstrong like I am now. I won't give up and nothing deters me. However, when I was a kid, if a hunt went as long as Cresselia's did, I probably would do the same thing. Give up for like a year and then try a few encounters. Still getting nowhere, especially with the roamers like that. So Latios, Latias, I caught both of those shiny because I did get my hands on, or no, I didn't get my hands on. I had Ruby and Sapphire version the first time that I ever had both. So I took out Latios and Latias, and I did all the dogs. Entei was the one I waited for the last. I did Suicune in Crystal version, and then after that I did Raikou, and Entei I did for some reason in Silver version. I remember that distinctly. For whatever reason, I did it in Silver. Oh, you know what? I know what happened. I never caught Entei. I left it uncaught for whatever reason, and then by the time I started shiny hunting, I moved all of my shinies onto Crystal, and I was using Silver for my shinies. So I reset my save file so that I could get to the Lugia hunt. And I never did the roamers because I didn't know how to do the roamers. I didn't know if they could be shiny. By the time I found out roamers could be shiny, I think Gen 3 was already out by then. So I went back and I did Suicune in... No, I didn't. I did not do it in Crystal version. I don't know why I'm thinking I did. I did all of them in Silver version. I never shiny hunted the legendaries in Crystal version. Except for Ho-Oh. I did do Ho-Oh because I already had a Lugia, so I wanted Ho-Oh, and I did like the backup encounter for it, even though you could do that in Silver as well. Anyways, I came back to the roamers after I found out that you could do the roaming hunts. I did that when Gen 3 was out already. I came back and did that hunt. So Entei was the last one I saved to last. I just don't remember why. I just remember I got Suicune and Raikou quickly, and Entei took a little while for me to actually start hunting. But then when I started hunting it, it was really quick. Reason it took me so long, my thing died when it shined. Then I had to wait 1 year. For Entei, it died. Your save battery. Are you talking about the original? Or are you talking Heart Gold, Soul Silver? In which case, you're having the same cartridge filter that I had. The cartridge, the little knobs, the terminals, they're having problems. Like my Diamond versions all do. Yeah, I wonder if that's just a problem with freaking Diamond version. Why? Like, what are the odds that would happen to me twice? Okay, so you did them on the original, which means, yeah, your save battery bit the dust just like mine did. God, I lost all of those crystal shinies and I still miss them. Even till this day, I look back only a couple years ago or 3 years ago. I look back 3 years ago and just think, why did I not do this sooner? I got the camera out to log all of my shinies, and the game was dead after I looked at it on Pokemon Day and the game wasn't dead. I knew better. Why did I let that battery die? I should have jumped on that. Oh God, you wanted to die. Yeah, I lost the world's oldest shinies. I mean, all those shinies I lost on Crystal. Ugh. My only hope for anybody that's out there, mark my words, one of these days I'll get my N64 going and pop Pokemon Stadium in there. I'm pretty sure I have a shiny Dragonair, my very first shiny after Gyarados. I kept it on Pokemon Stadium. I think it's still there. Pokemon Stadium 2 specifically. I think it is still there. I think it's safe. Hopefully, anyways. The N64 doesn't exactly boot up like it should, so... oh, no, actually, I fixed that last time. What am I talking about? I was playing Donkey Kong like a year ago. I fixed that. So, yeah, I should pop Stadium in there next time I'm down in town. Or, you know, do the thing that my mom keeps telling me and just bring all of my old gaming stuff back to my house with me. I keep leaving them there so that I can play them while I'm there in town. And I really need to just move them to my new house. You can actually get Gyarados to not shine. Oh, really? I never heard that one before. So, Gyarados, the red Gyarados, can be a regular Gyarados. It's basically a reverse shiny. I figured it was 100% of the time shiny. That's amazing. Not a hunt I'm in the process of doing, but I'm not lining that hunt up anytime soon, but that is pretty funny. I think if I still had a working Gen 2 game that wasn't the Virtual Console, I should have jumped on Virtual Console before I got rid of it, by the way. I would imagine one of these days, you know they're going to bring Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Silver, Gold, Crystal, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. They're going to bring them onto the Nintendo Switch Online library someday. They have to. They're not going to leave that kind of money just lying in wait. I think the only thing they're worried about is that they don't want to bring a whole generation of hacked Pokemon by bringing those games onto the console and then people hacking their console and hacking in shinies and all that. Not only that, but you know they're going to whip it out for the Switch too, not the Switch. Or you knew that they were going to wait for a next console so they can drive sales up. And the reason, I have a good reason why I think they would do that. They don't want the Switch 2 to be the Wii U. They do not want, they have a really bad habit of having low sales after they destroy the market. As much as I don't want to admit it, the GameCube was the sequel to the N64, and the GameCube did not make sales like the 64 did. The Super Nintendo didn't make sales like the Nintendo did. The Wii U was a flop compared to the Wii. So now we're on a winner. The Switch broke records. It looks like it's going to dethrone the PS2 if it didn't already for the best-selling console ever created, which means the curse of Nintendo implies that the Switch 2 is going to be a failure. Not necessarily a total failure, just in relativity. So with that said, waiting to bring the Pokemon games to the Nintendo Switch library, that would be something you could totally see them doing to save the Switch 2 sales. If anything's going wrong. Like, just whip that out, just like, boom. Now, the only thing you cannot argue is, would they do that and not support the Switch? If they're going to bring games like that onto the library, you would assume that the Switch and Switch 2 can play all of them equally. There are going to be no games that are on the Nintendo Switch library that are unique to one, or the Switch 2 that aren't on the Switch. Unless it's a modern game like they did with Animal Crossing with the Nintendo Switch Plus. Nintendo Switch Plus, you can have Animal Crossing and you can have the Octo expansion on it. So let's say that there's a DLC for a Switch 2 only game and they bring that in as part of the deal. I could see that, but retro games should play on the Switch just as much as they play on the Switch 2. no matter when the year it is. Only reason that they would have like Ruby and Sapphire, for instance, playing only on the Switch 2, the only reason for that is gatekeeping. Your Gen 2 game got smashed by one of your exes. Well, that's why they're an ex. Give me 1 second. I need to run to the kitchen for just a moment. Alrighty. I'm back. Alright, let's give Kyogre a quick reset. Do I want to plug my phone in? Yes, I do. I just realized it's sitting here and it's got the red blink. So, all right, Kyogre, I dare you to shine while I'm walking away. Ah, so much for that, Kyogre. You don't want to pull a Mewtwo? Mewtwo, I kind of was like, I got off my bike trainer and I walked into the kitchen. I did the reset. I was like, imagine, I was just telling myself, imagine this thing shines while I'm away in the kitchen. And dude, that's exactly where it did. That's exactly where it went with that. It waited over 40,000 encounters so that it could shine while I was AFK. Which is thus why I titled the video that it took 40,000 encounters and I missed it. My Gen 2 game got smashed. I already read that. He thought I was cheating on him with one of the gym leaders. Yep, that's why they're an X. Because I would say that's probably like a touch of, how do I say it gently? Illness in the head. And I'm not shaming that. I'm just saying that's why they were an X. You know, sometimes it's like, I sympathize for your situation, but I'm not going to deal with that. I kind of like the music, too. Dude, the other thing, too, was... Ivanus, I would have to assume that you did play Pokemon Let's Go, but if you didn't, it's a remake... Or really, it's a remake. It's a retelling of Pokemon Yellow, based on the fact that the green is in the story, blue is in the story, and blue is not in his original role. Whoops. Sorry, when I was in the kitchen, I grabbed a little bit of trail mix and one of the peanuts